Welcome to another episode of the Morning After Podcast. I'm Eli Olsberg.
I'm Jake Weissman.
And we just want to remind everyone we are sponsored by Adam & Eve, so if you want to help us out and help yourself out, because you should, you're going to thank yourself after you hear this deal. If you go to adamandeve.com or adamandevestore.com, type in keyword morning when you purchase something, they will give you 50% off, a couple free DVDs, actually 3, not a couple, and free shipping.
It's an incredible deal, and they've been lovely to us. And
You've been lovely to us, so let's all just be lovely
Let's
people.
just be lovely. No, but seriously, they're a great company, and they do a lot of great things that I'm sure you want to see, because if you're listening to this, you probably watch porn.
And you want to pay for your porn.
Might as well do it for cheaper. You know what I mean?
All the talk we've been talking about paying for porn, this is a great way to support the industry and support us. So today we have a really exciting episode. Really excited about our guests. A lot of fun. Jacky Joy and Anthony Jeselnik. So let's just jump right into it.
Hello, everyone. We're here with our lovely guests, Jacky Joy and Anthony Jeselnik. Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Good. Thank you guys for having me so early in the morning.
Oh, no problem. No problem. We're just preparing you for the real world, you know. Anyway, you are a comedian, and your website, anthonyjeselnik.com. Google it. If you get close, they'll direct you there. You have all your stand-up dates and all the other stuff going on
Yeah,
on
a lot
there.
of tour dates.
Cool. Awesome.
And we also have on Jacky Joy. Hi.
Hi.
Adjust yourself.
I'm picking my wedgie. That's all I keep doing.
Fair enough. Just so everyone knows, they can find you on Twitter at Jacky Joy, and that's Jacky with a Y.
Yes.
And then also JackyJoy.xxx.com is being worked on, and it should be up shortly, right?
Within the next couple of months, it'll be live. So.
Right. Okay. So, kind of a question we ask all our guests that we have on, kind of up top, is just if you can give us a little background on how you got started, and just go from there. You can be as vague or specific as you want, or general, or
Well,
or
it's
you
the
don't
same
have to...
story all the time. I was going to school at Penn State, which I graduated from, and
Oh, wait, where are you from?
Philly.
Okay, I'm from
So-
Pittsburgh. That's right.
Oh, we don't go to Pittsburgh.
We don't go to Philly.
But that's like on the west. There's no Pittsburgh when you live in Philly. No, but a company in Philly found me on MySpace when people actually went on MySpace, which I still have a MySpace though. And they asked me if I would do a blowjob scene for a certain amount of money, and I was like, sure, you know.
Wait, so you were on MySpace, but like were there model pics, or was it just you hanging out?
Just me hanging out. I wasn't really modeling. I was only like 19. Just got into college, the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
And
So was that like a cattle call they did or something, and you just answered to? Because that seems weird that they would specifically find you if you don't have any kind of like...
I don't know if they
Yeah.
were just searching or if they had somebody who searches for hot girls in the area or if they're close by, but they found me, and I was just like, I was a waitress, making like $40 a week. So I was like, sure, let's do it.
Did you ask anyone? Were you like, is this the right amount of money? Did you like ask friends, like, what would you do this for, kind of thing? Or you were like, that sounds about right.
No, see, who was I going to ask? Like, hey, mom, is this the right amount of money? Should I get this for a blowjob scene? Which she probably would have gave me a price. But
Now, since you've been in the business for a while now, do you look back on that amount of money that you did for the first and like, oh, I can't believe I did that? Or
no, it was around about the same price. So they didn't jerk me over, but I know they did. Yeah, that's not that. But
You
they
just
have with
invented
other
an
people.
idiom.
Yeah, did you like that?
Yeah.
But I wish I had somebody who told me what to do once I realized there was porn, like a porn career, and then I was like, shit, I would have done a couple things different. So
like what?
I wouldn't have done interracial right away. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Save that.
that's a big thing. Yeah, you have to like kind of like...
Or
pad
maybe
it
even
out.
boy girl. I would have just started with girl, and that would have been it.
Yeah,
that kind of like makes it more tempting. Like down the line, they pay you more money to do interracial or do.
It's like one step after another, and then it's all the way to like anal is like the top
What are
of
the
your-
steps? Can you like talk about the ladder? I would love to have this spelled out because I kind of know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good point. We've talked about it before, where they do mention that, and like how they do kind of like have to, in terms of longevity, some girls will just really hold out for a long time. But it seems like it's gotten a little harder to do that now because there's so many.
Yeah.
The internet kind of made everything
different.
Yeah, it kind of changed
the
a lot.
piracy and everything. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, back when I started, it would have been great. If I would have started with girl, by now it would have been fine. You know what I mean? But if you start now, like you just might as well do everything. But it goes like girl, then boy, girl, then interracial, and then anal would be like your last thing that you do. Okay. I just haven't done anal, so it's been 7 years.
Here's to 7 more.
I know, right? It's going to be like that.
So, okay, here's a question. Okay, so I guess I have a few questions, but one is, you did that blowjob scene when you were 19?
Yes.
And you were at school?
Yes.
And then did you just start doing porn all the time? Like, where did you film that?
Oh, in Philly. See, I was at Penn State, and they filmed it in Philly, so I had to drive all the way back. Because I'm originally from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, so that's halfway in between.
So biblical.
Is that near, and keep the biblical theme going, is that near Bethlehem?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
yes,
is it really?
I lived in Bethlehem, too, right by the star, you know.
I dated a girl who was from Bethlehem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I went once. I've been to Pennsylvania once, and I went to Allentown also, to the
lived there,
Allentown
too.
Fair. There's a big fair there every year.
It just, when you say those towns, it sounds 30 years behind. You know, it sounds like everyone might be black and
Do
white
you know
a little
these
bit.
areas too?
Oh yeah, I mean, it also sounds like you're going through like Billy Joel's greatest hits.
That, too, and Larry
I met a girl in
Holmes.
Allentown. Yeah, that's, oh my God, that's great.
The women wear helmets. It's crazy. Yeah.
So, so then what? How did you just quit for a while, or?
No, I continued to work for them a couple times, and then they started getting shady. They started asking me about some of my friends who weren't like 18 yet. And so I was like, no, I was like, well, this is their contact information. Like my one friend, she was turning 18 in like a couple months. I was like, get a hold of her, in a couple months. She's definitely willing to do it. And
But you already knew. You're like, yeah, this girl definitely, no question about it.
But apparently the FBI was watching at the same time. So I just remember, okay, my Mustang rolls down a hill without me in it. 2 days later, the cops come to my door and they're like, oh, we want to talk about your Mustang rolling down a hill. And I was like, okay. They're like, come to, the police little thing
In
they have on
Washington,
campus.
DC.
Yeah, right? I walk in and there's this guy and this woman dressed in black. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I did something. Like, I'm screwed. And they sit down. They have this huge box with my name on it, like, of everything, like MySpace stuff, Facebook stuff, cell phone conversations.
Whoa.
And the only reason they were contacting me is because of the whole my friend who wasn't 18.
Right.
Well, they contacted her before she was 18. She shot with a fake ID. And I wasn't involved in it, but, they see those messages and they thought I was involved.
They thought you were
in
a
it.
sex trafficker.
Yeah, and I was
my
like, I
God.
am not that. I go to Penn State and I'm like this tall. Like, do I really look like a sex trafficker? But they made me like get all wired up and everything, go see the company and yeah.
Whoa, wait
yeah.
a minute. You went undercover? And
Well, they were scaring me. They were like, "You're gonna go to jail," and I'm like, "I can't go to jail."
So did you do the thing where you're like,
Oh
you open up and you're like, this is wired this entire time. I have something I need to get off my chest.
They give you like a little chip you put in your pocket. That's about it.
Oh, really?
They do
And
now.
did you
That's
get
cool.
the information?
Well, it was weird because I don't know if he knew because he made us sit like we were supposed to meet him at like a restaurant or whatever, and he sat right next to the band. So it was hard to see or hear anything. So I'm like,
This
that's the-
is more a fantasy of mine than porn. You know what I mean? Like, this is way exciting to me.
Amazing
They
thing.
should turn this into a parody. Like, what happened to Jackie Joy when this
That
went
is
down?
possibly the best story you've ever had on the show. That is
Yeah.
unreal.
Wait, so that's the other thing. Like, what? So it wasn't to a shoot that they knew you weren't going to go do like a shoot of any kind.
Oh, yeah,
because
no.
it would be weird to wire somebody who's going to go do porn. You know what I mean? Like, that's
That
weird.
would
It's
be
just
kinda
because
weird.
the FBI just want to jack off. That's
Yeah.
the only reason they
Well,
were
I
away.
can't remember. I think it was because I was going to meet up with him and get a box of the DVDs that he put my thing on.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I remember I got the box. I wanted to keep them. That would have been nice, but they took it. They're like, oh, it's evidence. I was like, fuck. All right, take it.
You're real.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was
that's a
scared.
fucking
I
great
thought I was
story,
going to
man.
jail.
Oh god,
Yeah.
that's the most terrifying thing you can go. I mean, that's
couldn't
absolutely
imagine,
horrifying.
Yeah, when you're in school, you're like, shoot.
Okay, so I have another question. Sort of. Okay, so you're 19. You get this message. So and so certain amount of money to do a blowjob scene. Had you ever thought about doing porn? Like, it was this just like, yeah, why not? It's fun, or I really need the money, or like, because that is a big emotional decision.
Because it seems like there's two
I don't think
things
that
too.
it was a big emotional decision.
Really?
I think it was just like, okay. You know?
And you just were like, whatever.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, sure, I'll do that, you know?
Were you in it just to like perform the act on the camera, or were you like, this company seems legit? Did you do any research? You were just like, I can see myself doing that.
I went to the website and I saw it was legit, and I saw all these girls that he shot with. So it was kind of like one of those. I should have done more research just in case. You know, obviously went down to the FBI. You know, but I just did it, and I was just carefree. That's all I remember is being like, Okay, sure. Driving down.
Were you so you were going to school, and that was like, I mean, in terms of like high school or with your friends, were you like, did you kind of roll in that in a more carefree crowd as well then? Or?
No, actually, I was just on the Maury show because I was a nerd in high school and I was made fun of all the time. I barely had any friends. I'll admit. I'm telling you, my story gets crazier and crazier the more you go back.
I love it. Okay.
Wait, so you were kind of like just a shy girl in high school?
I was ugly, like ugly.
Whoa.
I'm not joking.
So was it flattering to get the message?
Yeah, because I just got my braces off just before I went to college, like couple days, and then I got that message, because I had the shorter blonde hair, the kind of natural, barely any makeup on. So I guess they liked that kind of look, and I had a perfect smile, so I was happy.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. And so then, when you did that scene, were you like, I think I'll just do porn for a living, or you're like, well, whatever happens, I don't care?
That's pretty much how it was. Whatever happens. Like, I continued to work with them a couple more times, and then I can't remember how I found my first agency. I don't know if I asked them if there was like more to this, like, is there a porn career or whatever, and one of the other guys was willing to be like, oh, well, I know this guy, he's in LA, he could help you further, and then I shot him an email. So...
And when you go in to do like your first blowjob scene, are you like, I'm just gonna go in and give this guy a blowjob? Or are you like, I've got to fucking spice it up a little bit? This is for the cinema. You know what I mean? Like, did you like research anything? Were you like, I've got to think of something to do here, some big finish?
You have to see my first one because you would laugh. Everyone laughed.
Really?
I was smiling the whole time. It wasn't sexy. Like, I remember I went back and did like a girl, boy, and like I'm underneath and his balls are hanging like above my face. He's fucking her, and I'm smiling. And people are like, why are you smiling so much? I don't know. I was just like, I didn't know what to do.
That's like when you first start comedy and you have that like nervous laugh that follows every punch. That's the equivalent of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
just like that. And then, now my technique is better. It took like probably 2 years for my technique to be like down.
So you're saying your technique is to not smile?
I still smile, but I mean, I was
It's
bad.
more calculated.
I was afraid of cum at first. Like, it was acid when I did a couple of my videos. I was like, and I would be like, and people were like, holy crap. But now it's not acid.
But I bet the audience must like love that, to see like a girl who's just like this big smile, like seems like really enthusiastic, and then is terrified of semen. I think that must be like,
Only for a few people like that. I have a couple of people that will come back to me and be like, oh, I saw that first video you did where 8 guys came on you and you were like, oh,
whoa.
screaming.
Your first video?
It was like my first real video big into. So it was 8 guys. I had to lick a guy's ass, the first one, and then 8 or 7 other guys stood around and jerked off until they came on my face, and it was weird.
That sounds weird.
It was weird my first time.
Sounds like you're not doing it again.
No.
One last question about college. If you're a porn star in college, are people noticing you all the time? I mean, I assume they would. I mean, what was that like?
Well, when I first started, I had a boyfriend at the time. I didn't tell him I went to go and do it, and one of those stories.
You think you would have been mad if you would? Because if my girlfriend in college had been like, I kind of want to do the porn, I'd be like, fucking do porn, like that's awesome. But did you think he would have been? No,
he's psycho.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm not dating him anymore.
That's an interesting reaction. I think a lot of guys would be like, no. You know what I mean? Like,
I just think it was like this like sexually liberating thing. I would have been like psyched, especially in college. I would have been, this is awesome. Like, we're the people. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's
Statement,
such forward thinking, because you know how many dudes have like hang-ups about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So you think you could like date someone who works in the sex industry?
Absolutely. Yeah, I see it as like a power thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think it's cool. I don't think it's like demeaning. Depending on how you carry yourself, it would depend.
Of course. Yeah.
But sure.
That's funny, because that is, I think, where it's kind of evolving towards. Like, it's become a lot more of kind of like what you do. You seem to kind of run everything yourself.
Yeah, it's like socially acceptable, kind of. Once all the older people start to die off, the younger people.
That's what we're waiting on, yeah.
Well, and also, it's like a pop culture thing. I mean, if you're like, especially comedians, I mean, well, comedians and porn people in porn like totally get along. I mean, there's nothing like it's totally normal. We talk about porn here openly. Like everyone like talks about watch. That's already a huge improvement, I think, over whatever even 10 years ago.
It's almost like when you're like in like junior high, and it's like the worst thing you could be called is a masturbator. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, like you hit 9th grade, and all anyone talks about is how much they jerk off.
Right.
It's like just one of those things
that's a really good.
Just
point.
like you get to a certain age,
I
and
never
just
thought
like
about
that's
that.
all anyone cares
about
about.
that.
I'll never forget the day it turned when I was in middle school.
Me neither. I mean, I remember the moment.
Yeah, in 8th grade, everyone was just like, "No, man, I don't do that. That's fucked up." And one dude's like, "Yeah, I do it all the time." And his other, "Really, me too." And they're like, "What do you use? What, Vaseline? No, don't use Vaseline." And it just was a 5-hour conversation.
Oh my god!
And slowly, every girl slowly disappeared that was around the cafeteria table. And it was just a group of guys talking about jerking off.
I remember sitting around. We were like, I was on a sports team or something. We were like we're like stretching beforehand, and one of the older guys just goes, "Man, this sucks. I could be at home jerking off." And all the older guys laughed, and I just remember all the younger guys were just like we're loud, and that was all that went on after
Best
that.
day of your life.
That sounds horrible.
Did you finish college?
Yes.
What did you major in?
Business administration.
And so did people notice you at college? Like, what was happening there?
Well, I mean, when I first, because then after that one scene, I went right to Florida and did the Bang Bus.
Oh, that's a
yeah.
big one.
Everyone's like, yeah.
So it's a rite of passage.
Right, yeah. So everyone knows that one. And that came out, and then that's when everyone started to notice me and noticed what I was doing. I just remember going into my dorm room and looking at my computer and seeing that my porn was up and getting a text message that says, "You dirty little bitch, I found your porn." I was like, oh, my boyfriend found my porn.
Oh, wow. And did he break up with you?
No, he stayed with me for a little bit because I was like, no, I'm only doing girl. Trust me. Yeah, okay.
Contrary to the scene where
I don't know why I stayed with him so long. I should have just left him
we
go.
all make mistakes.
Yeah, we all
make
do.
mistakes.
But he's long gone. So
Good. Did he like cats?
no, he liked dogs.
Okay, we can get to it later. I just wanted to ask. You have a Hello
like
Kitty
cats.
purse. Yeah.
Do you now? So when you left, now how long did you actually stay? In terms of, did you move to LA at any point?
No. I stay in Philly.
So, and you're
I
still in
refuse
Philly
to
to
move
this
to
day,
LA.
right?
Yeah.
So how often do you come to LA?
Once a month for 10 days.
Ah, that's an interesting. And what are you doing in Philly then? How are you kind of killing time there? Because is there still
play with my cats? I do reality shows, and Jersey seems to be the biggest place for reality shows now.
Oh, you do reality shows like as a real person, but not.
No. I use my stage name. I just do it as like porn star Jacky Joy. I did Jerseylicious. I did Jersey Shore. What else did I do? Playboy foursomes. I did Maury.
Wait, what do you do on Jersey Shore? Are you like one of the girls who comes up to him at the bar and like wants to go home with them?
No, I would
okay.
kill myself. No, I was just one of the girls that made fun of like they staged it. Like I'm on the boardwalk and they make fun of them. And
Okay. You're saying it's scripted? Because that would kill me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every reality show is
I know.
scripted. Come on now.
Yeah.
We should all know this.
Yeah.
You So, but how often does that work come? Because that goes in seasons too. I mean, you obviously just get a lot of you time. I take it.
Oh yeah. I'm like a normal person unless I'm hosting clubs or on webcam, and I just hang out with my friends and do the swinger thing and have fun.
Do you feature dance?
No, that would be too much.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Do we have time for this?
Let's take our first break now, and
Okay.
then we'll come back because I do have a question.
Hey, this is Anthony Jeselnik. You're listening to the Morning After podcast.
I have a question for you, Anthony. I'm glad that was your voice, so we can have this direct contact. When did you start watching porn?
Oh God. I mean, it was different. I'm 33, so I remember a kid in my class, maybe like 5th or 6th grade, who like got a Playboy from his dad or something and tore out a couple pictures and like brought them in. And I remember just like being fascinated. Like you had these like 3 images, and that was your sex, you know?
Right.
Or like Victoria's Secret catalogs. There was like one friend who had like the creepy dad who had like a porno. I remember watching this Jenna Jameson movie at a friend's house. We were in like 5th or 6th grade, and he had surround sound and everything. It was just like huge setup in this like awesome house, and he's sitting there and he's trying to get the sound on. It's like 8 guys down there waiting to watch this porno. The porno's playing and there's no sound, and he's turning it up, and finally there's a knock on the door, and it's the cops, and we're like, and they're like, "Do you know that your speakers play outside.
Oh
And he
my
had like
God.
cranked up this like for this party thing, and it was just like Jenna Jameson porn scene,
Oh my
like,
God.
gangbang playing all
that's
over the backyard.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
A live concert. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's great.
I wonder who's the one that called and complained. You know, there's had to be because I can imagine everyone around. It must have been like a bunch of calls.
I feel like it must have been like a neighbor who's like, "Oh, the McKelveys are at it again."
So, and then, okay, so because I pretty much grew up, well, I don't know if I grew up necessarily, but like the internet is such a big part of how I watch porn. But like,
course.
I'm 28, so 5 years makes a little bit of difference. I feel like in that time it really switched.
It's just it was it's just at that time when it was complete kind of the transition period.
How would you get
Yeah.
your porn in college, and then like did that change? Does it change now? Like,
In college, I mean, that's like when I had the internet for the first time. You know, I was kind of like the last guy to get a computer, I think. But in college, I was like, I started in '97, and then like there was porn, but I didn't know there was no like YouPorn that you just went to and it was like all this stuff. It was still like you had to like Google tits and like just be patient, just go through things until you found something. So there was still like a lot of videos and DVDs that would get passed around in college. You know, and then I remember right after college, when I moved here, I lived right above a girl who did. She did the website stuff for porn things. So whenever she'd have me like come and like help her move something, and there would be like this video of like, you know, people having sex or like some guy duct taped up and like girls walking over his balls kind of thing, like high heeled shoes. And I was just like, oh, this is like your career. This is like, it just became, and everything just became so boring right away. You know what I mean? And she would just give me all this porn, like all kinds of anything you could ever imagine. Like I would just have it like everywhere in my house. That I just quickly became desensitized. And, like nothing could.
do you still watch porn?
Oh yeah. A lot.
And does it? Like, what do you have to go for really extreme stuff now because you've seen everything?
You know, the opposite. Like the extreme stuff doesn't do it for me at all. I do not like seeing the woman getting hurt at all. I don't like that, like stretch the face out kind of thing. Like that freaks me out. Like all that stuff. Like I like one-on-one. I'm pretty vanilla. Like I've had girlfriends who will watch porn together and they're like, you can't handle this, or like I'm like it doesn't turn me on the way that like.
And why do you think? I mean, this could be obvious, but why don't you like when? Because when the women are getting hurt, I'm sure that you would think, well, they're probably not. They probably are enjoying this, but is it like the fact that you think they're not enjoying it?
There's rough that like there's enjoyable rough, and I have no problem with in porn. There's that like eyes watering like look of fear kind of thing that some people really get off on that I hate. Like if I'm with a girl in my personal life and she's in pain somehow, like I'm immediately turned off and concerned.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Concerned.
Yeah. I'm like, what happened? What did I do? And she's like, no, it's great. Keep going. I'm like, oh, okay. But just don't make that sound.
I have
again
that thing where like if I feel like the woman with is wincing, I immediately like shrink. Like it's like goodbye. No, I have to go watch a cat video or something to remember that life is good again, and then I can have sex. But I also am attracted to the roughness. Like there's something about like I think like feral sex in a way, like rougher things that is exciting in a way, like if it's consensual, but then I can't.
But that's almost like an intimacy thing for me. Like a one night stand could never, go that way. But like if you're with someone for a long time and they're like, listen, I would if you just choke the shit out of me here and slam me against the wall, I'd love that. Then I can get into that.
Right.
But you've got to ask me. I'm not going to do it on the off chance that you're.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
That Louis C.K. joke. I wasn't going to do it on the off chance you didn't want to get raped. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's also, I don't know, it's funny. I think for me, it might actually be the opposite because I feel like with one night stands, there's so much less at stake. And like, this isn't a person that I'm invested in. There is this like moment where we're just kind of really, obviously it's the same thing. It has to be something that she would say, like, choke me. And even though I have like no physical strength whatsoever, like, it's one of those things that like.
It's more massage.
Yeah. But because I am kind of in this, I feel like for me, the more time I'm spending with someone, I feel like the more it gets much more emotionally involved. And maybe I haven't been in a lot of long-term relationships. I've only been in 2. And I feel like those 2 were probably, I don't know. We never got there. It's really weird. And it's more recently, the past few girls that I've dated that I've had slept with, it was more like rough and very like, they wanted a lot more, and they have to really ask. Yeah.
They wanted a lot more.
Nicely.
I like that.
Jacky, I had a question for you. You mentioned at the end of the last segment that you mentioned something about swinger. Swinger. Would you consider yourself a swinger?
Yes.
Sexually? Okay.
I don't like the word, but I'll consider
but it was a buzzword for me.
Yeah. Who thinks of
It
swinger?
sounds like you're 60 when you say it.
Yeah, like you're gonna go
we're
like
bored with-
dance or something.
Yeah,
with this.
right, exactly. Now, okay, so I would love if you could describe what that means to you. You know what I mean? Like in terms of how you describe it. But also, Was that how you always were? Did porn sort of open you up to that? And you're like, oh, sex is great, freedom, whatever.
Not afraid to come anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just progressed into like this crazy person who likes it rough and crazy and kinky, and I love the swinging thing because I have a boyfriend of 4.5 years, and you know, the first 2 years we weren't into it, but then we just started getting into it where we just find like another partner, or couples, or we'll like have sex in the same room with another couple, or we'll swap, or we'll soft swap, which is all the terms for fucking
What
swinging.
is soft swap?
Yeah,
I love that.
Where you just give them, like, you switch partners, but it's like a blowjob or just eating out. No, like, actual penetration.
That's so interesting because I assume when you get with certain couples, there's like certain rules you got to follow for the different couples.
Yeah,
like,
there is.
Oh man, how does that negotiation happen though? Like I'm so interested by that.
Well, it's easy. Two men go in the corner. They talk shop. They
Rock, paper, scissor. Yeah.
And you two
paper,
just
scissors,
hang
shoot.
out. Wait, take
No.
5.
We all hang out and we just get to know each other and what we like. You know what I mean? Some people, you know, they'll say they're swingers. Like just recently at a party that I was at just before I came out here, this couple, we thought they were into it kind of thing with everybody else. There was probably like 12 couples all in one room, and they just got a little weird. I was doing something with his girl and he kind of like stormed out, and I was just like, okay, you shouldn't put yourself in that position if you can't handle the things that you're gonna see, or just get out of it completely.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right, totally.
So that's why I'm just like, we talk and we kind of get to know what you kind of
Right.
like, or see what you kind of like.
Is it just the group of friends you roll in, or are there certain clubs or things like that?
Well, I hang out with 2 different groups. There's the Sexy Valley Girls, and
This is incredible.
That sounds like a street game.
I know, well, it kind of is. It's like 10 hot girls. Some have partners, some don't. Some are lesbians, some are single, but we're all fucking hot. And we all have sex with each other. Like, we all get together and we just party and crazy things happen. And if you're there, things could happen to you too.
Would you say that you're crazier in your personal life than you are in your porn life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, just because I come out here, it's strictly business. Like, I'm very business-minded. I get on set on time. Let's do our job. I do it great, you know, and I'm ready to go and get off and do what I need to do. And then when I'm at home, I'm a little bit crazier because I'm hanging out with all my group of friends, you know, people that you're comfortable with. But, you know, that's one group that is in the Valley area.
And if where would you find you and your friends? Like, are you guys hang out at a park on Sundays and do this?
No, you know, there's times where we do the parties, you know, or we get together and we just party and things just happen, or we'll just get together and hang out and, you know, just, you know, go out to South Street and go shopping. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Like, no, we don't hang out at parks. There's not that many parks in Philly or ones that you want to go to. But then there's phillyfriction.com, which is kind of older group, you know, kind of like 25 to like 40. And they're actually like couples. But those people are like really hardcore. Like they go to a party, they expect something, you know, like that's it. Like
I bought when I was in San Fran last year. I bought Nina Hartley's Guide to Sex. She just published this book where it was like kind of this really broke down the minutia of sex and kind of like deglamorizes everything. And one of the biggest chapters is swinging. And she talks about like most people, you really have to make sure both sides are completely comfortable. I mean, like 100%. Even if the other person says they are comfortable, you have to like you have to test the water somehow.
You kind of have to be friends with them first to realize that you can't. It's very hard to just meet someone and go at it, kind of. But I mean, most people usually do. Like the Philly Friction people are crazy, and they'll just do whatever. But I've witnessed crazy things where 2 couples are friends, they're best friends, they hang out. Next thing you know, they're yelling at each other at a party. They literally switched partners, divorced each other, switched partners, and married the other partner. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
And is drugs a big thing at these things? Do people get like especially the friction when you say where it's like it's crazy? Do people come and start drinking, or they're like?
Oh yeah, there's always alcohol there.
For that? Okay,
yeah,
is it a big alcohol thing, or is it like every kind of?
Well, not like heroin. It's not like people are shooting up or anything, but like there's like, you know, coke and ecstasy,
like party drugs.
2 biggest things, yeah. Because some of the girls just like to roll and then they get really crazy and. Yeah. I don't know.
That's interesting because there's also, I'm sure there has to be like a purist swinger scene somewhere, because I'd imagine there are a lot of people who don't want to.
That's really funny.
You know,
a purist? You mean like no drugs?
Right, no drugs, no alcohol. Well, I mean, alcohol kind of affects performance for guys. It's, you know.
Well, it all depends. I mean, so the younger guys, usually can just go at it and be there forever.
I suppose that's a good point. I mean,
unless you
if
drink really too much. Like I've had guys that are like completely intoxicated and they can't even get hard, and they're like, "Fuck," like this is my opportunity. Well, it happened to my boyfriend the one time we had a party, and all of us, and I'm having my strap on, and I'm fucking all the girls, and I'm fucking my one friend, and he could have had the opportunity to fuck a couple strippers that we had there, and it just got really crazy, and he's just like running around, my dick won't get hard, and he's like
literally just running around.
Yeah, he was. He's like, suck on my
great.
dick. I need to get this hard. Like, just laughing because everyone knew that they gave him too many shots. Like we all know, someone happens in our group and that happens, and they're just like, fuck. And then my friend ended up vomiting, and it was chaos.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Anthony, I have a question.
It sounds like a blast. Like I'm so bored.
Yeah, it does sound. It sounds
now.
a little different from what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what I was just going to say, it was so funny. You were saying, like, oh, yeah, well, the alcohol, they can handle it. It's like, maybe I'm just used to hanging out with comics too much. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's just like, oh, a girl was in my house. I couldn't get it up. And that's like the end of the story for us.
Someone mentioned the word girl, and I cried. Yeah. Anthony, you mentioned before that you think you could date someone in porn. Could you have an open relationship, do you think? Like, would that be a thing for you, or how do you view that?
I think I could. I'm so busy, and my professional life is I think probably comedians and actors and stuff kind of look at their career the same way that, like, someone who works in pornography would. That you just kind of have, you've got certain opportunities you need to kind of cash in when you can. That I'm on the road constantly, and if I was dating someone in the adult industry, and like, I've got this schedule, you've got that schedule, we can meet when we can. I would be totally cool with that, but it would be hard to go the other way. You know what I mean? If we were in like I don't know if I could have like start a relationship if I was dating a girl for like 2 years, and then she was like, listen, I want to go into porn now and like kind of change our relationship. I don't know if I'd be able to handle that transition.
What about if it weren't porn? It was just, a citizen or whatever, like someone just like basically it would.
We sound like foreign people.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of funny.
That is, and
like we're from Europe, and
comedians sometimes refer to people who are not comedians as civilians. Like I've heard that many.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal people. I call them.
It's because it's just not a subculture. I mean, these are subcultures. Like, so whatever. Anyway,
well, every relationship I've ever had has ended because I wanted more time apart. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm a very independent, like kind of guy like that. They all.
I meant more like jealousy. I think I meant more like.
Oh, I'm not jealous. I'm not a jealous guy. I feel like if I'm dating someone, I'm just so I'm like confident that you want to be with me, and if you don't, then it's over. I don't care if you cheat on me, it's done. But I'm never worried about that. I always just think that.
Well, what if say you're in a club. Let me give you scenarios. Say you're in a club and, this guy comes up, you know him or whatever, and she's like flirting with him, and then she realizes, hey, I want to do a threesome with you two. Like, what would you say?
Probably not. I don't know if it would depend on how she'd have to explain. We would talk about it. It wouldn't be like no way, I'm not doing that. But it would be, explain to me what you want me to do. I would rather the girl was like, hey, do you mind if I go fuck this guy? Than if she was like, hey, come fuck this guy with me.
Yeah. That is kind of I think it's weird how the dynamic kind of shifts on in terms of when threesomes happen, the one with two guys and two girls, because it depends what you're looking for. I think is what comes out of that whole thing. Like and I guess that's why I totally get what you're saying with like, you have to go sit down and talk about it, because it is like, what do you want? What is it that you specifically want?
But I'd be fascinated I wouldn't be like, if we were dating and you were like, listen, I want to have sex with that guy. Like, I love you and I want to be in this relationship, but I really am attracted to that guy. I would be like, I'm fascinated that you feel like we can have this conversation. Let's do it. And if you can convince me that it's, you still love me and everything is cool with us, then I might not have a problem with that.
Really?
But we'd have to talk about it.
Right.
And maybe I wouldn't be cool with it, but I'd like to think that I would.
Sure. Yeah. I was the same. I think doing this show for both of us, that kind of, we learn those limits every time, every episode, because I didn't really consider myself a jealous person. I still don't think I am overall, but all it takes is the right thing or the wrong thing. I guess
think it's mostly in general about communication. I mean, that seems to be what you're saying. It's because it's like a lot of things, like when I've been cheated on, I think the worst part, there was one time when I was cheated on. I've been cheated on a lot, guys. But there was one time when I was cheated on where the main deception was that she had gotten so emotional with this other guy, and I don't even know if they fucked. I think they did, but it was so emotional that I was like, this is absolutely unforgivable. I can never get over that. That is such more of a gut punch than if you fucking blew some guy, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess if she had just said she wanted to make out with him, I don't know if I would have really cared that much. I don't know if that really matters.
I think it's confidence in yourself. You know, like I feel like if I told my girlfriend, you know, I want to have sex with that girl, she would hear that girl's prettier than me. Do you know what I mean? Like that you want that girl more than you want me, and that makes them hurt. But if my girlfriend was like, I want to have sex with that guy, I would be like, well, I'm still fucking hot. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't think that he was like better than me. So I'd be like, oh, you want some sort of variety? Let's discuss this.
That's interesting.
You know?
No, that's great to be confident. Yeah, that's awesome.
And how long have you been confident? How many years now?
We're going what? Like I've been in the industry 7, probably 5.5.
Did that change in terms of like in over time? Like, did you? I guess my question is, when you started, were you a lot less confident, or?
Yeah, I mean, I really was ugly in high school, so it took a lot for me to finally be like.
So you think you were ugly in high school?
I know I was ugly in high school. Anyone could tell you. Even Maury was like, "Oh wow, that's that girl," you know. Like, I had the bottle cap glasses. Like, these are hot, you know, because I'm a hot girl. But I had like the thick one.
I see it's changed.
And, yeah, and I had the short hair and the braces and the expander, and it was just, I had no boobs, and it was bad. At one point I had red hair. I don't know what I was thinking. I had it shaved. I don't know. But I was ugly, so everyone would say
I'm
that too.
I'm picturing like the big mohawk that goes up to here.
No. Like just shaved on the sides, where it was like the short butchy hair. You know what I mean? Like
a lot of bad choices.
Yeah, a lot of times, and especially my clothes, because I knew I was ugly, so I would try to like over exaggerate my clothes and wear orange pants or those big elephant pants or something crazy. I don't know what I was thinking, but if I could go back, I would change everything.
We all would.
I would be this.
Did you? Now you were saying that you didn't have boobs then. Did you get implants in the middle of your career, or when did that happen?
Yeah, in the middle. It took about 3 years until when I met my boyfriend now. I was like, okay, I want boobs. So I did my first boob job and then a couple other surgeries, and then my second boob job and a couple other surgeries. So nothing to my face. This is all natural. Right?
That's great.
But how does that work? You're saying you used to be ugly.
I think it takes time for you to mature into your face.
Oh, I got
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some people could be hot when they're younger, and then they grow, and you're like, what happened to you? Like, I think that happened to my whole high school. I don't know what happened.
That happens to the majority of, I think, every high school. Like,
and all the ugly people turn hot, and you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting
nice
that.
to them. Yeah, should have been nice to them.
Yeah, I saw one.
They realize that now.
There's a girl that was beautiful in middle school and high school, and now she's like really big. She has a little Vienna sausage fingers. It's like, oh, it's just the worst.
I thought you were going to say, and now she's dead.
Yeah, I know. Now she's dead. Yeah.
That's a little too dark. Even for me.
Let's
take our last break.
Hey, you're here with Jacky Joy, and we're on the Morning After podcast.
Perfect, you nailed it.
You see how I got like questions? What am I doing?
Kind of a question we've asked this quite a few times actually. Going back to dating, and this will be the last dating question, I promise everybody. Did you ever date anyone that worked in the industry in any capacity?
No.
Okay. And
I refuse to. Sounds bad. And
no,
people probably hate me for that.
It doesn't surprise us
I know,
at all.
it sounds great.
I want someone normal. I know. I just want someone normal, so when I go back home, I think that's what makes me so normal compared to any other porn star or porn girl, is because I get to go home and I stay grounded. You know what I mean? I'm still with the family. I still act like a normal college girl. I'm not so wrapped up into the porn scene and the drugs and getting like, I can distinguish between my real name and Jacky Joy. It doesn't mix. Some girls, like, all of a sudden their alter ego turns into their stage name, and it's just like, all right, you know. That's why I'm not friends with a lot of them either.
Oh, that's interesting. But you do have a couple people that you're really close to?
Yeah, you had Katie Summers on.
Yeah.
I'm really close with her. I don't know how we are, but I love her to death. I'm always like, wow, you need to go to school. I love you. I don't know. Can I have a conversation with you? But she knows I love her.
Everybody tweet to Katie Summers, go back to school.
She'll kill me.
There was a quote. I follow a couple like porn stars on Twitter. I always just think sometimes they're like insanely interesting. Sometimes they're terrible.
Yeah.
But it's like really fun.
Yeah.
But someone had a quote the other day that was, she just said, "Just because I did it doesn't mean I do it."
Yes.
And she was referring. Is that like a saying that like? Is that like a porn saying? 'Cause it sounded. I knew exactly what she meant, and I can see girls saying that all the time, you know.
Well, we don't say that all the time, but I understand what she was saying too. I think she was just thinking of it, you know what I mean? Because that's exactly how it is. Like, some of us, there's like 1% that's actually normal out of the porn industry, which sounds bad too. Yeah. But it's that 1%, like, we still get judged because everyone else, like, what they do, how they screw up, even though we could be very professional and we could be normal people.
There's some girls out there setting terrible examples for you.
Yes. I was just talking to a company, actually, that's like, the one quote thing is like, oh, boyfriends usually destroy the girl's career. They usually are like suitcase pimps trying to take their money. And
can you break down the term suitcase pimp? Because I just heard that term for the first time last week, and I was curious about it. I'll tell you why off air, but yeah.
Pretty much just being a pimp, just one who just travels around with his girl and is like whoring her out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just. I have a boyfriend of 4.5 years. He has his own money. He has his own career going. He's well established, but he wants to see me succeed. And he's always helping me with my career and trying to market me and try to get the right people involved. But it's not like he can call up, my publicist and be like, hey, let me just talk to you about this, because then all of a sudden they're like, oh, what are you trying to get involved? Right. And he's like, well, technically, yes, just to help her, not to take anything away from her. So there's girls out there that really ruin it.
And what is like success? Like you say, he wants you to succeed in your career. Like, do you consider success mainstream crossover, or do you consider success like just being able to work a lot?
I'm just looking in the porn career. I want to blow up. Like, I want to be here as long as Lisa Ann has. She's 20 years? She's like going on 40, and she still looks fabulous.
She does the Palin parodies.
Gotcha.
We had her on the show.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
Yeah,
I love her.
Great.
She's great. That's like my idol. I want to be her because she's been in so long.
And not only that, she's all business, but not in a way that's like obvious. Like you know what I mean? Like when we had her on,
super savvy.
She's on the road. She feature dances a lot, and her rates are through the roof because of all this Palin stuff. She's literally on the road. She says like 47 weeks out of the year. She's never home, and it's like that's I can totally imagine. I can see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I won't be that extreme. Like I do like to go home and play with my cats. Like usually.
Oh, we'll get there. We're almost there.
I'm just saying, I do like to go home and be normal
sure.
and, clean my house. People are like, you clean your house?
But that sounds like how you become successful. If you stay away from like the drugs that ruin so many people, and you try to just live a normal life while you're working.
Yeah.
You get caught up. That's when you burn out pretty quick.
Yeah, that's how a lot of girls, like they always say there's that 2-year period. And if you succeed after 2 years, that means you're going to continue here. But if you don't, then, you were just one of those girls that are in and out.
And so that woman you mentioned would be like your idol, like more than like a Nina Hartley or...
Ginger Lynn, she was a big one. She was back in like the 80s popular. And Nina Hartley too. But though they came in for a little bit and then they left again, I want to continue and even go behind the camera or just make sure I live my career as long as I can while I'm young and hot. I can't be 80 and trying to do porn still.
I mean, there are some people who have a fetish that says you can.
Yeah, I know,
narrow.
but just kind of, after that,
sure.
I don't know.
What's your interaction like with your fans?
Oh, I talk to them all the time. I'm always on Twitter. I interact with every single one. I'm always getting people, but I make sure I message them back all the time. There's a lot of fans that I'm actually friends with. Like, they'll come out to clubs and party with me, and they'll be like, hey, what's up? Like,
wow. Well, I guess that was the reason I asked it, because you had mentioned with Twitter, there's kind of, your feed must be insane in terms of just people constantly replying
to I mean,
to
there's times where, I don't see it, and they'll be like, well, why didn't you message me back? I was like, oh, well, I had 50 other people messaging me, so sorry, I try to get back as much as I can.
Of course, but that's like...
I talk to my fans all the time, so...
Is that kind of the opposite for you, because you don't tweet as often?
The exact opposite.
Yeah.
I would never... I'd never
like, I don't
reply
talk to
anyone.
anybody.
Like, I couldn't imagine having to do that. I guess it's a different vibe for you.
Yeah.
Talking to your fans, like you can just be like sweet in yourself and do whatever, and they love it. They're just happy to be talking to you. But I don't know, they like want something. They want me to be funny or something.
Your persona also, I think, almost works better if you don't respond to them.
Yes.
In a way, like it's just like you're sort of like it's like cooler. It's more detached. It's like almost impenetrable.
Well, people come up to me like after a show and they're like, "Oh, that was awesome. You're like one of my favorite comedians." I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much.
Right.
I really appreciate you coming out." And they're like, "Oh, you're a nice guy."
Right.
Then I've had people tell me like, "You should be a jerk. You should like insult them afterwards." And they would like people would line up
like
to
Dice Clay or
Well,
something.
like a Daniel Tosh thing?
No, more of like a Rickles thing where they would come up and be like, they'd want to get insulted. They'd stand in line. And I was like, I don't want to work that hard. I just want to just be myself after the show. And
Right.
But
I was listening to a Sarah Silverman podcast, and she said that sometimes makeup people have been shocked to find out she's a nice person. It's like, no, it's just a persona that she has.
but makeup people are idiots. So.
True. Make a lot of money though.
They do,
make a lot of money.
It's
It's so weird. Yeah.
That is that's interesting. Do you, in terms of like So I guess for you, for dating, is it hard to date civilians? It's much. I feel like with comedy, it's actually harder than in porn. It makes more sense because I can't do it anymore. Like I need to date. I mean, I guess I could, but
interesting. Why can't you?
Because I mean, they don't get the hours. I mean, our work starts at night. And most people work during the day.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's also like
I was writing, and like you might not even be doing anything, but you're like, I'm working, I'm writing, I'm trying to think of these jokes, and your girlfriend's like, you're just fucking sitting there, smoking pot and watching TV, and it's like, but I'm kind of
you're
kind of lying too, but it's like just that acceptance. Like I just got out of a 2-year relationship with another comedian, and which was ill-advised. To date another comic, but we love each other. We had a great time.
Yeah,
and we're just still kind of talking to friends. Before that, I dated civilians. I never called them civilians. I
dated civilians,
and it would always like it kind of worked. It kind of went. It went fine. There's just some point where I like mentally check out and decide I need to like focus on something else. Like I just like some project. Do you ever get that where you're like you've got this big movie coming up, and you're like, okay, I'm just thinking about my scenes and what I'm going to be doing, and you just don't think about your boyfriend or your cats even. You're just like focused on this thing.
Oh, well, when I'm out here, yeah. But if I know that I'm going to be doing a movie, when I'm at home, I don't even think about the movie. I'm just like, yeah, I'll go. I'll wing it.
Yeah.
I'll see how it goes.
I just get focused.
I think what. Oh, go ahead.
I think sort of what you were saying. I think with comedy, it's such it doesn't have to be, but it's so often a neurotic endeavor that. It's almost better. It's like sometimes it's good to date someone who at least understands what you're going through, which is why there's the compulsion to date a stand-up comedian because they really get it. And then you can never. And if you're going to do a show, they can never be like, "Don't do that show. Stay home with me." But
I don't think it's even some. Wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I would say, but like sometimes, like I'm dating someone who's a writer, so she's a comedy writer, and she gets it, but she doesn't do stand-up, so it's great because we never see each other in that domain, which is pretty ideal at least for now until it.
That's
nice.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was. I was just surprised I'm in therapy. But I was talking to my therapist about it. Because I recently just briefly dated a girl, and she wasn't a comedian, but she was busy. But I don't think it was. It just didn't work out for other reasons. But I'm also like super busy as well, and I was just like, wait, what? How would it work for me? And I think that's kind of the same thing. I realized I'm like, it's kind of like dating someone in the same office building but different part of the building. You know what I mean? Like in terms of a writer or somebody who's in comedy but not quite in stand-up. Because at least too, also when it ends, you guys can do a pretty good job of avoiding each other if you need to.
Sure.
You
I mean,
know?
I think a lot of it is just in terms of respect. If
Yeah,
you're dating, you
it
might
is.
be dating a girl who like works her ass off and is like a smart girl, and she'll just be like, well, I work all day. And you just go up on stage for 45 minutes a night and have fun up there. And I'm like, that's not what
I
it is.
hate when I hear that.
Yeah.
I'm working too, damn it.
Exactly.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right,
that I couldn't.
right.
If I was dating someone and they were like, "Well, you just go up there and joke around," I would be like, "That's it."
Yeah.
we can't.
Whoa, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, I briefly dated a comic as well, and it was kind of for a few months afterwards. I got really self-conscious because I would see, like. You see people around, it kind of
It's awful.
it
You got
fucks
all
with
the
your
same
work.
friends. Yeah, it's like you show up at a show and it's just really uncomfortable. It
And you're
sucks.
trying to focus because you're like, they're watching me on stage. You especially don't want to bomb.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's like
exactly. You have a bet that you see it in the back giggling. You're like,
yeah,
fuck you.
it's the
Oh,
worst.
it's brutal. Comics are terrible people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nightmares.
They are. There's a handful of good ones. So if you find them, check in with us.
Okay.
I guess the last
Check in with you.
before we get to the final question. When we were talking about with fans, do you ever get fans who kind of go over? Oh, also, do you have a wish list?
Yes, I do. That's the reason I talk to my fans.
know about
love
this?
the way I love it. I think it's so fucking funny.
It's amazing.
And it's great for fans too because I feel it's like I can buy them, like I can get them a gift. Like I don't think any guy feels taken advantage of by a girl's Amazon.
No.
wish
How
list.
Only
could
some,
you?
like some of them, like the total jerks that might be in college that have no money. They're like, "Why would I buy you something?" It's like, well, then it's not for you. Like, why are you looking at it then? But it's great because they love it. That they know that I'll get it, and they'll get a picture of me wearing it. So they're like, "Oh, she definitely received it." Because I'm not that type of person that just gets it and don't give anything
Do you ever
back.
put? I'll never forget this, and I've used it as like multiple times on here. But someone like put a copy of 500 Days of Summer on there. I'm like, really? That's what you're gonna put on there? Like, take
There's
a picture
some
like
really
next to the
stupid
dinner babe
stuff.
with it.
Yeah, there's some really stupid stuff. I had a couple sex toys on there. I always make sure there's a couple on there. I have so many sex toys now. I don't know what to do with them. So I'm like, okay, I gotta slow down. And then I started with the dresses and the shoes because you can
that's
you
cool.
can dress in them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? People love it. And I got to stop on the dresses and shoes too because I don't know where to put them either. People are just buy, and I'm like,
It sounds like a good problem. Though.
It's good because I don't have to go shopping anymore. So I don't have to buy shoes. I don't have to buy. I can shop for other things.
And this is only, but the wish list is only something that porn actresses use, right? I've never seen anyone else or in any profession, even like I've never seen women of any other stripe
like an
or a guy.
actress
Like if I put one on, I was like, "Hey guys, I'd fucking love this," and just like
They'd be like,
if you guys
"Fuck
want
you."
it, yeah, no, people would be so mad at me for that. But,
yeah, you don't
I can
see
imagine
like
your phone would probably. You get so many texts from comics like, "What the fuck are you doing?" They're like, "I just ordered what you wanted. Go fuck yourself." That's
like Brad
hilarious.
Pitt doesn't do it. You know, people would buy Brad Pitt stuff.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
But then again, they're on a different caliber. Like they have millions of dollars, so they can probably purchase whatever they want.
Right.
So a petty
Of course.
little
It is funny
dress.
because Amazon probably did not start it thinking, "Oh, this will be good for the porn industry," because it was supposed to be like a gift registry.
But it
that
would
was the
be
point.
so
Amazon's like,
great.
what can we do for them?
It would be so great if that's the only reason they made it. Yeah.
And they're just like, our overhead it's going way down, numbers going way up. That's so funny.
I love it. I think it's the
It's
best thing.
unbelievable.
It really
It's
is.
funny that people still do it. You know, people. I know I wouldn't buy somebody something. No. I'd just be like,
No, I
what?
wouldn't either.
No,
Why?
that I didn't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
like
be,
why would I buy you something? It's just kind of like webcamming. Why would you get on a webcam to watch a girl just get naked and dildo herself for like $3.99 a minute when you could go buy porn that's cheaper or go find a girl or a stripper? I don't know. Find somebody.
Do you Camelot?
Yeah, I do a lot of that.
I think with camming, what it comes down to, it seems like it's that personal, like you're actually talking to her right now while she's doing this act.
I
And I
guess
think that's
so.
where the money, that's where they see, okay, spending the money.
Well, then
you
I
know?
also do verified call where guys can call me and I charge $5.99 a minute for that.
Talk on the phone?
Yeah, just talk on the phone and be like, hey, what's up? I had people call for sex advice. I had people just be like, oh my God, it's actually you. And I'm like, yeah.
What's the longest phone call you've had?
Only 5 minutes.
Okay.
So it's like $25 because if you go any longer than that, it's going to get up in the hundreds. Like I think an hour is like $500.
Do you ever
like,
get concerned? You're like, oh, you're spending too much money. Let's slow down the combo.
no, because I'm like, if you're going to, you can talk to me. I'm here. I'm willing
I'd
to
rather
like.
I'd rather spend the money and call you for advice than what else is there? Loveline? That's like the
Oh.
worst program ever.
Yeah.
It literally has come down to the same thing every time. It's just like some 17-year-old like, I accidentally touched another dude's dick. Am I gay? Or like a girl's just like, I didn't like the taste of cum. What do I do to? It's always the same fucking questions, and it's like I don't think we're learning anything from that show
It'd be great to
anymore.
call you and just be like, just do this and then that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, great, awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. Oh, counterclockwise? Perfect.
So I think we're ready for the final question
Let's
now.
do it.
Jake, you can ask it because
Well,
you guys have
That
already.
sounds scary. Like we're supposed to be
very
prepared
scary.
for something.
Yeah, I'm a little worried
You
myself.
should
Yeah.
have done research.
Our final call.
All right, so Jackie,
Yeah.
are you? I mean, I already know, but are you a cat or a dog person?
The cat person.
Yeah, because you're smart and awesome.
I mean, I love all animals. Hold on. I love all animals. If I saw a dog hurt, I would go save it and help it. You know what I mean? But
let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the cats.
Yeah, let's entertain this monster first.
I'm a monster. What are your cats' names? Tell us about them.
Kitty and Bo. And
Is it B-O or B-E-A-U?
B-O-W.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was Bo at first till I found out it was a female, so I was at W.
Oh, that's cute.
There you go.
That's real cute.
Yeah.
And you grew up with cats?
Not really. I grew up with dogs and cats.
Okay.
I just fell in love with these cats because I went into my own apartment. I was like, okay, I want to find a cat. So I did my research and I found a kitty at a shelter. And she was tiny and it was funny because she ran up to my boyfriend and was just like, meow. And my boyfriend's like, that cat.
I love it. I love it.
That cat.
That's great.
This is great so far.
And
Yeah.
well, let's Anthony, cat or dog?
I'm much more of a dog guy, but I
Excellent.
like cats, you know?
Yeah.
He's
I mean, it's a
excellent.
little upsetting.
Not for me. As if you guys haven't figured out, I'm the dog person. He's a cat person. Just by our general demeanor as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Do you
psychotic.
Now? Obviously, you're really busy, so that's why I take it you don't have a dog.
I would love to have a dog. I debate it all the time, but I'm on the road so much I just couldn't.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
tough, man.
At some point, I want a big dog. I want like a mastiff or like a.
Oh,
That's what
I
I'm
want
saying. If I ever get a dog,
yeah,
I want
a
like a
Great
husky
Dane. Whenever
or
I
something.
see those people, like someone with a Great Dane, it's like got their paws on its shoulder. I'm like, I want that fucking thing so bad.
I would have been genuinely shocked to find out you were a cat person. Now, I know that's not an insult. What I mean is, I think your demeanor or your state. I think I'm getting it from your stage persona. It seems like a dog person. Do you know what I'm saying?
I guess so. I mean, I feel like cat or dog person is just like what you kind of had more of, you know, when you were a kid, or which one liked you more.
But I'm
you know
into
what I mean?
racism.
Which one
You know what I
liked
mean?
you
I'm
more?
into
You know, like
judging.
sometimes the cat, like I was the oldest of 5 kids, so like there was a like we had a couple cats and a dog, you know, and the dog was mine, and then the cats were like the
that makes
girls.
sense.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
interesting.
It's the
Okay,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
I could totally see that. That's funny. I had a German Shepherd. She was beautiful. Her name was Sasha.
Sasha, we get it.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
it's great.
da, da, da.
It was a big, graceful dog. I totally get it. I also love huskies.
I actually
any
really
big-
like huskies a lot. They're
I love
amazing.
huskies. I
Yeah.
want one.
They're incredible.
Eventually.
Yeah.
With my like 20 cats.
I never see a dog that I don't just want to like walk up and just like start rolling around on the ground.
I know, right?
I'm like that kind of idiot. That you,
Oh, so when a Chihuahua comes, you want to roll?
I don't like the
I don't
little
like
ones so
chihuahuas,
much.
yeah.
Those things
Chihuahuas
just
can be
wanna
kind of
punt.
cute.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Oh
Like,
my god.
The little dogs they're annoying. They're just annoying, and they're too much of an accessory than a pet. You know,
Yeah.
very few people do you ever hear just like, oh yeah, I got to go walk my Chihuahua and play with my. You know, they usually are just like, oh look, here it is in my purse. You know, they're like holding it up as like a display thing. Like it goes great with this bag.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
Or
it
it's
is.
like
It goes great.
I think after living in New York, I always felt like people everyone's got tiny dogs. That it was just like you want a dog as much as you don't want to pick up a lot of shit.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you just don't.
Yes.
I saw a guy with like 3 mastiffs walking down the street, and I was like, "Oh, those dogs are awesome." And then the dog stopped, and the guy was like, obviously very wealthy. The dog stopped, and they all took a shit. And he pulled out of his bag a whole roll of paper towels, an entire roll, and then sat down on the sidewalk and was like scooping the stuff and putting it in the garbage. And I was like, I will never get a dog. You know, like I will never,
it's
never
like a
have to
huge
do that.
yard.
That's
or
why
something. Oh my-
cats have litter boxes.
Yeah,
So
it's
easy.
it is
But no,
amazing.
I just heard this thing about cats when they go in the litter box. There's like a bacteria in there that can get in your brain.
Yeah.
And like mess you up. There's this whole
Where the
like
fuck is
pregnant
this?
women shouldn't be allowed around litter boxes. It's like a parasite
Whoa.
that comes out of cats.
Yeah.
comes
What?
out of cat shit and gets in your brain.
But it's a little. This has
If they
been.
keep themselves clean, though.
It's been a room. Well, it was like it's been.
Don't start with it's been a rumor.
I'm a Scientologist.
There's more stuff there's more stuff coming out. I just read this whole article about
No,
it.
I read that article too.
Oh, the
and-
same thing, yeah.
Yeah, because people like to slander the cat community. No, but it's true. I mean, I think I'm crazy. But let's just give it a break and say it's like 0.000.
If you keep your cat very clean, which mine are shaved and mine have clothes and mine have a little stroller, they are not going to have parasites. Okay.
But what do you think? What do you think the internet has been better for? The porn community or the cat community? Because I feel like the internet has really helped cats.
And the internet has destroyed porn. I mean, in terms of it's helped people see more porn, but it has destroyed careers more.
Well, it's
in
just like the
porn.
music industry.
Yeah, just like music industry.
yeah.
But because I think there's such a taboo against the porn industry, no one's sticking up for. Like, there's no Eminem being like, "Don't fucking download my stuff for free," because people are like, "Well, but you're in porn, so we don't
Yeah.
care." But no, cats. Oh my god, it's made cats superstars.
Yeah, the videos are ridiculous. I mean, just go if you.
I love YouTube.
Spend a day on
Maru,
his Facebook page. People
Box
post.
cat?
He
We'll talk about
kind of has a following around his cat thing.
I will not spend a day on his Facebook page.
I would say you don't even have to spend a day.
Take a week, man.
A whole
and just
day.
chill out. You know what I mean?
But it is
Unplug
weird.
your phone
I can
and
have
just fucking
people that listen to this show that only know us from this show. Become Facebook friends with me and just post cat stuff on my wall once a week, and I'm like, I guess this is the life I've chosen for myself. You know, like, I mean,
But it's
not,
funny
no,
stuff.
it's great. It's
like
great.
some
I
of
love
them
it.
when
Yeah.
they talk or they say crazy
amazing.
things or
Yeah.
they do crazy things. Like
Yeah, just on
tell
your
me
Facebook page, someone put meow. Just a girl just put meow.
Love it.
And it's like,
meow.
fuck off.
Well, that sounds sexy.
It's all I
meow.
want. It's literally all I want.
It is funny because you never
Right?
do actually want to hear a girl put woof.
Yeah, no,
Like, I
thank
will
you
say
so
that.
much. And also admit though, cat videos are pretty awesome.
They're all great. I
Tell
like
me
them
what
so
dog
much.
videos are awesome because I have not seen a dog video that's
They'll
really
always
awesome.
have I think the good dog videos are the ones where they're like interacting with like you'll see like a baby falls asleep on the dog.
Yeah,
The
that's
dog actually
cute.
takes care of a human
Rusty
baby.
the narcoleptic dog is pretty cute. He just runs in a field and falls asleep all the time.
or the ones that have no back legs and they're like wheeling themselves on like carts. Those are the only funny ones. The disabled ones are the funny ones.
That sounds oddly
Cats are
dark.
just freaking
That sounds like a
hilarious.
fetish. Yeah.
All right, well this is great. This is a lot of fun. Anthony, thanks so much for doing the show.
Thanks
Anthony,
for having me, guys.
and then Google Anthony Jeselnik to find out your website where you have all your dates. Go see him live. He's absolutely hilarious. And
Jackie Joy at Twitter at Jackie Joy with Jackie with the Y and or Google it and then
I mean, that's really easy. Just Google my
Although I
name.
feel like with porn, it would just show up in so many different spellings. You know what I mean? You'd practically
they
probably put Tom
screw it
Joy
up.
and you'd pop up.
I would think so. They always spell it with IE. Like you'll have box covers that'll come up with that because people are retarded. And even though you put Jackie Joy on the paperwork, it still comes out all
pretty
screwed
dumb.
up. Like
And also your website, JackieJoyXXX.com is coming soon. Should be up in a month, you said?
a month or two. Then I'm also going to do the JackieJoy.xxx, which is actually instead .com. They started the XXX
Oh yeah.
one.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to have that as well, and it's all going to be integrated. So
Cool.
All right, great. Thanks so much.
thank you.
No, you're better than me. this.
Did you guys hear the part where Jake just said I'm better at him than this?
I say it a lot.
It's been recorded, and we now have it on permanent
This
record.
sucks. This is going to ruin my career.
Yeah, so just want to remind everyone, while Jake still has a career, to go to adamandeve.com or adamandevestore.com, type in keyword morning. They'll give you half off any item, and they'll send you a couple free DVDs to go with it as a thank you, and also they will send you free shipping. They're not going to send you free shipping. They're going to send it to you with free shipping.
You got to pay for the free shipping.
Yeah.
No, but Adam and Eve is a great company. Please use them, especially if you're watching porn. Might as well pay for it. It really helps out the people in the industry.
And thank you for listening to us. You can always follow us at TMA on Twitter, at TMA Podcast, and you can also find us on Facebook on the Morning After Podcast group and TMApodcast.com, which this is how you found it. But hey, just in case for you little stragglers, you little wayward kids.
And thanks again to Jacky, Joy, and Anthony Jeselnik. It was a fantastic episode.
Great episode.